Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we return for domestic league action on this weekend, and we're doing something we've never done before. We're covering the MLS, baby. We're keeping it in our country for once, and we're going to cover the MLS Final with our MLS betting expert. If you guys are interested, stick around, baby. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera.
Well, we come to you guys early on this Thursday. We're going to be covering this weekend's action in the EPL, the Serie A, and one game from La Liga. But, Jord, before we get into these matchups, we had quite a nice midweek. How did your bankroll fare?
It fared quite well, Dev. Over 5 units for me personally. Between the two of us, we made over 10 units.
Let's go.
Quite a nice midweek for us. So a great start to December for us. We can take a look at that record as soon as I introduce our guest, who you can see in the middle of the screen if you're watching this, Mr. Bob Ventimiglia, our partner on the Hooligan Soccer Network. Bob's from a show called The Designated Pundits. They covered the MLS with all the degenerate betting that you get from our show as well. Bob, how you doing, sir?
Doing great. Thank you guys for having me so much. I appreciate you being here. I know a lot of people are squirming at now. It's actually a thing amongst MLS fans to not say the MLS. It's Major League Soccer, not the Major League Soccer. So I just need to get that out there right now. You're going to get toasted. It's okay. With the more content that covers this league, the better. And, we're going to see exactly what the Major League Soccer gods wanted, which was a messy MLS Cup debut. And we get to talk about that later today.
Right on. Yeah, we're going to have that at the very end. We're going to do our normal show, and then we'll bring in Major League Soccer's final. It's going to take me a minute not to say the MLS, but thank you for the tip on that one. Jordan, let's take a look at that record from this past weekend, because I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not going to lie. We're going to throw out the results here. Quite a week, Jordan. I went 5-1 plus 4.6 units. Jordan went 7-1 plus 5.73, a total of plus 10.3 units. Jordan, this is our best week of the year so far. And we were saying on the last show that this is when the season really begins. The international breaks are out of the way. We get to actually focus now, and these players and teams get to really look at what's ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely, Dev. This is what we call the business portion of the season. December is massive, especially, absolutely in Europe with what we cover. It's absolutely massive. Bob's just about to shut down for a little while, but we are in the thick of it here. So yeah, let's keep it going. Can we build on that massive return we had? I hope so. I'm feeling good.
And this is a great time to tell you guys, if you are watching live, jump in the chat. Let us know your thoughts on these plays, your thoughts on Major League Soccer Cup Final, and any other bets or just chirp that you want to throw at us, including right now we've got in the chat, Light Chipster says, greetings from Bonnie, Scotland. Great to catch you live. I suppose that's right. We're starting early, so he gets to actually watch us live for once. He says, congrats on a great week. Made 4 units following this week. Let's go. That's what we love to hear, is that the listeners are tailing these plays and getting to cash themselves. And we got a whole nother slate coming up. These matches are coming thick and fast, so let's jump into Saturday in the Premier League. It's Manchester City against Sunderland. This one sees Man City as home favorites of 1.75 goals on the Asian handicap. The total is set at 3.25. Jordan, both teams to score yes, minus 106. Both teams to score no, minus 125. Can Sunderland get on the board? They had quite a result against Liverpool at Anfield, drawing that match 1-1 in a thriller. Man City put up 9 total goals in their game against Fulham in the midweek. If you had anything in that game, I hope you cashed it, because goals came from every angle. But Jordan, what do you think about this matchup with Sunderland, a brutal 2-game road stretch going to Anfield and now to the Etihad.
Well, I can tell you, Dev, just taking a look at this card here, the market just isn't respecting Sunderland as it should, in my opinion. Plus 1.75 on the Asian handicap. Have you seen what this team has done? They beat Chelsea. They drew with Arsenal. They drew with Liverpool. What more do you need to see? They're getting plus 1.75 against a Man City team who only beat Leeds by 1 goal and only beat Fulham by 1 goal and conceded 6 goals across those 2 matches. So I think you could easily take Sunderland plus 1.75 here. I think the money line's too big. I wouldn't take the money line because I could see City winning this game. They're also in good form, certainly in terms of their attack. But I'm not going to mess with the side here. That plus 1.75, very tempting, but I'm just going to take both teams to score. At that price, it's insane. With what City are conceding and what they're putting up, that's the play for me. I found a slightly better price than the book that we used for this card. So I'm getting it at even money, both teams to score, yes.
Yeah, that seems like pretty good value, Jord. I'm looking at, that Sunderland money line, 9-1. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the game, but if you're a punter, if you want to do a little sprinkle, that's kind of a fun one. Because, look, the City team, we've said it, they almost came back and ended up dropping the 3 points against Fulham. They went up 5-1, and then Fulham stormed back to end up losing 4-5, but they were in it. They had their chances to get that 5th goal. You could do this as like a double chance, right? Sunderland to win or draw, which is probably great value as well. We have seen both teams scoring in Manchester City matches in 6 of the last 8, including over 2.5 goals in 7 of the last 8. Both teams have scored in 5 of the last 6 Sunderland matches. This team loves to defend. They don't mind sitting back, getting behind the ball, and just sitting deep. They actually love it. The commentators were saying, like, wow, I just love seeing, it's such an English team. They know how to dig in, suffer for the badge. Because that Liverpool match was crazy, and they had a chance to win that at the end of the game with a wide open net, and actually Federico Chiesa ended up saving it off the line. So, Jordan, I'm going to run it back. We did this last week. We had him on the Asian spread against Liverpool. I'm going to do the same thing here, and you're giving me an extra quarter of a goal. Look, City, terrifying. They're going to put up goals. Sunderland can defend, and they can be dangerous on the counter. Can they keep in the game? Can they pull off the miracle again? We don't even need them to. I don't even need them to get a point. They can lose by 1. Hell, they can lose by 2, and I'm only losing half my stake. So give me that plus a goal and 3/4 on the Asian handicap at minus 109. Bob, I know this isn't the league that you cover, but I believe you've got a model, like a betting model for us that has some ideas about this match.
I do, and I didn't enter all my numbers behind, so you see me like entering numbers in real time here. Both teams to score, I have hitting at 48.68% of the time at plus 102, which is where I found it just before. You're getting a negative 0.83% value. So that's right about a 50-50 coin toss. I'm 100% okay with that bet. Back that 100% on both teams to score. I think it is a really great price there. And if you do think that Sunderland has any chance at all, the best bet, and this is one of the best bets of the week, if you bet them at plus 500 to score a second goal over 1.5 team total, plus 500, you're getting a 5.48% advantage on what the sports books implied total is going to be on that implied probability. So it's a long shot, but I don't mind approaching it.
It's a nice price though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for adding that for us. Bob runs his own, I guess you'd call it model. So he's going to be jumping in with some ideas about that.
Yeah,
Let's move
I like
on, Jordan.
hearing that stuff because, it's a little different than the content we typically bring. So appreciate you bringing that to the table, Bob. And I have to say, that team total, plus 500, Leeds cashed it, and so did Fulham twice over. So stranger things have happened.
Yeah, not a bad shout. Let's move on to another matchup on Saturday. It's Leeds United against Liverpool. This one sees Leeds as home dogs of 0.5 goal. and the total is set at 2.75 on the Asian handicap. Jord, Liverpool on the money line here, -120. Seems like a decent bet, but when's the last time we saw Liverpool win a game on the road? You're getting Leeds on a double chance at home. What do you think about this matchup? Leeds just coming off of a great win against Chelsea.
Yeah, well, the last time we saw Liverpool win a game on the road was 2 matches back when they beat my shitty team, West Ham United. But that's a gimme for anyone. When you come to the London Stadium, that's 3 points. And Isak, of course, got his first Premier League goal there as well. So get right game there. But this Leeds, this is a whole different animal, especially at Ellen Road. We've seen what they're doing. They just beat Chelsea 3-1 in the midweek. Absolutely crushed them. Could have had more. They just blitzed them, and that's what we saw against with Leeds against Man City. But we were talking about how City kind of got bullied a little bit. They weren't ready for the pace and physicality. City great going forward, but they struggle in the back. And this Liverpool team, you're telling me Leeds can't put a couple of past them with the confidence that they're showing right now? And they haven't necessarily been much better at Anfield or on the road. So I think it's a team low on confidence. I think Leeds won't show any fear in this one. And I can't look past the Leeds team total here. Team total over 1.5 at +175. They put 2 past City. They put 3 past Chelsea. They're at home here. Liverpool have been leaky. They kept a clean sheet against West Ham, but they conceded 1 to Sunderland the other day. And before that, they had conceded 4 to PSV and 3 to Nottingham Forest. You're telling me this Leeds team can't put 2 past them with the attack they've been showing lately? Give me that at +175. I think it's too big, Deb.
God, that's a good bet. Damn, I wish I had seen that before we put our picks in, Jord, because team total for a home team at +175 is just way too big. And I mean, I'm going a similar direction here. I'm just taking both teams to score and over 2.5. That comes in, I think it was like -120. So, God, for the better price, can Leeds score twice? This could be a crazy game, right? This could be like massive scoring basketball match, end to end. It won't be the same as when Sunderland is traveling to Anfield, what we saw at Liverpool in the midweek, because Sunderland's a team that wants to defend. They want to stay tight, especially on the road. Leeds at home here at Ellen Road, they're going to take it to Liverpool. They're going to go for this, and I really think this could be end to end. Liverpool have their struggles. We've said, what's wrong with this team? They have all these new signings. Slot is a fraud. Jordan, you said it before on this show. He's a bald fraud. And I see nothing to say that he's not, because they keep not getting results. One thing we haven't really talked about much is the sort of off-the-field issues with this team. Diogo Jota passing away tragically. How has that affected the team? Now there's all this roster turnover. I think, and Virgil van Dijk in an interview was saying recently how, I don't think people are talking about that enough. That was a huge deal for everybody. But yeah, I mean, look, all I'm thinking about is the betting. And for me, it's got to be goals everywhere. ML Kid, he's back in the chat, and he says Liverpool backline has been doo-doo. That means bad. They're no good. Both teams to score in the first half +295 for ML Kid. Not a bad shout. Love that price. Both teams score first half at +295. Nice going there, ML Kid. Bob, what do the models say? What is the tinkering that you do say about this?
So I do want to just come up with just that the model I'm using right now. The model I use for my own show, I do my own, I have sliders, offensive and defensive for each team to modify when players are out. And for Leeds, they have 2 forwards who may not be available. Calvert-Lewin is questionable in this matchup, and I'm going to butcher this name. Lucas Nmecha is having a hamstring assessed. So that might change, but just based on the raw statistics, this is using home away splits for each team. The home over 1.5 goals is actually risen to +186 on FanDuel. You can get that right now. That is a 7.64% advantage on what we think the probability is of that outcome happening. And if you want to just bet straight up on Leeds, +310, 15.51% advantage on what the sportsbook has there. So yeah, they're kind of seen it the same way
the money line?
You are. It's what?
That was on the money line?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So all favorable plays, and we're kind of seeing it the same way you have. What I'm getting, just raw numbers, 39.9% chance at a Leeds United victory, 34.9% chance at a Liverpool victory.
Very tight.
Wow.
So that Leeds double chance there, Leeds plus half a goal, maybe some value there, huh?
Yeah, Liverpool they're right now minus 120. That's a 20% loss.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, you're definitely looking at probably just about even money for that double chance, and that'd be that would cover. I can tell you the exact number. 64% of the possibilities would be a Leeds win or a draw.
Love
Wow.
that.
Let's go. Okay. Well, let's move on then, shall we? We're all Leeds here, aren't we? We've got another matchup. This one also on Saturday. It's Bournemouth against Chelsea. This one sees Bournemouth as home dogs of a quarter of a goal, and the total is set at 2.75. Chelsea losing, as we just mentioned, at Leeds 3-1. In the midweek, Bournemouth losing to, I want to say, it was Aston Villa. Who they played? Yes. No, Everton, excuse me, 1-0. I knew there was a 1-0 in there. So they lost that one 1-0, and now they got to turn around and face this Chelsea side. Jord, what do you think about this matchup?
I stayed away from this one, Dev. It feels a little trappy to me. It didn't like what I saw out of Chelsea in the midweek. Are they getting gassed? They had a big week if you think about it. They played Barcelona, and they didn't have really any problems with Barcelona. Went down to 10 men early, but then they played Arsenal, went down to 10 men themselves, and were probably disappointed they didn't win that game. But I think it took a lot out of them playing with 10 men for as long as they did. So maybe the midweek surprise isn't as much of a surprise as it seems when you unpack the entire week. That said, I'm not really quite sure what you're going to get from them right now. And Bournemouth, at the same time, they're just kind of slipping. They haven't been able to put together the results that they started the year with. So this is a stay away for me. What did you see here?
It's goals, Jord. I'm just going goals again. Both teams to score and over 2.5. We've seen over 2.5 4 of the last 5 Bournemouth matches, and head-to-head, these two teams, goals everywhere. We had a 2-2 last season, and then also a 1-0, but then before that, 2-1, etc. And for me, it's about who's missing from these matches, because the American Tyler Adams looks like he's banged up. He's going to be out of this. That's going to open up some space in the midfield. Same with Lewis Cook, suspended. Tyler Adams is suspended as well, excuse me. So two of their better ball stoppers in the center of the park there are suspended. And then the big one for me on Chelsea is Caicedo, who's serving that 3-match ban for the red card. And when he's not in the match, Chelsea are noticeably worse. Last season, I think they only picked up like 3 points. It was 3 or 4 points out of like an expected 20 in matches that he missed. So maybe that makes you want to look at Bournemouth, but I don't even want to mess with the side. I just think if you're going to be giving green lights through the midfield here, that there's going to be scoring at both ends. So that's how I wanted to go with this one, George. Both teams to score and over 2.5. Comes in at round even money, minus 105. Bob, what do we think? What does the model say?
So, and again, this is not ruling in suspensions or injuries at this point, but Bournemouth, Chelsea, Bournemouth 36% chance of winning, Chelsea 36.9% chance of winning. So, of course, it's really heavily favoring Bournemouth at that plus 220 number. You're not going to like what the goals say. The goals say over 2.5 happens at 45.34% of the time, and both teams' score would happen at 50.68% of the time. Both are at about minus 14% against the implied probability.
Oh, awful for me, the computers. But you know what? This is why I'm not a tech man. You know, I'm a gut.
Well,
I go from the gut, baby.
He's a punter.
The computer's wrong just as much as I am. So there you go.
Right on, man. Well, let's move on to this one taking place on Sunday. It is Brighton and Hove Albion against Jordan's West Ham United. This one sees Brighton as home favorites of a full goal -1, and the total is set at a flat 3. Jord, West Ham pulling off the draw at Old Trafford today, mere hours since we recorded this. And Brighton was able to take care of business in the midweek, getting a victory in their matchup. So what do you think about this one, George, with your West Ham traveling down to the South Coast?
Yeah, Tef, I'm probably tempting fate here. This is 3 shows in a row where we've had my team on a card, and one was a disaster, the Liverpool game, and one went quite well just today, snatching that point at the Theater of Dreams. That was very satisfying, I have to say. Yet West Ham remain in the relegation zone in 18th place. But there are signs of improvement, right? We're seeing more goals scored. We're seeing a little more fight. And they're better on the road for whatever reason. There are several reasons, but I won't get into it here. Not as good at home. I was talking about how it's a get-right game for anyone when you come to the London Stadium, but this one's not at the London Stadium, right? This is at the Amex. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Amex.
It is.
And
short for American Express.
Right. I'm not going to mess, Dev, with the sides here. I'm not backing West Ham on the spread, although it is a little attractive, I have to say. They keep getting these full goals and a little more spreads in some instances. But I'm just going goals with this one, Dev. I cashed in the midweek on that over 2.5 in Villa Brighton. That cashed easily in the first half. Ton of goals in that one. I think it ended 4-3 to Villa. And yeah, I couldn't believe that total was lined at 2.5. The market a little wiser here, moving it up to the flat 3. But I'm going to go with the both teams to score angle because I don't think you probably get to 3 goals without both teams scoring. So both teams to score and over 2.5 in this one. And I got that price at even money, my favorite price.
Right on, George. Yes, I did misspeak before. Brighton lost their midweek match against Aston Villa in that aforementioned 4-3 7-goal thriller. George, I stayed off this one. I wish you luck betting on West Ham. Seems like you're tempting fate, but I'm glad that you are on the side of goals this time. And hey, you've been getting them right. Nobody knows a team better than the biggest fans. So I suspect you have a good insight into this one. Speaking of insights, what do you think? What does the computer think about this one, Bob V?
The computer thinks that Brighton Hove Albion has a 50% chance of winning, and all the other results have a 50% chance. So if you take that double chance, you see the Brighton heavy favored -182. Maybe take a double chance on West Ham if you're really confident. Maybe take a like a draw no bet, something like that. But it's kind of seeing things a little differently here. Again, like I said, it doesn't usually work out that one team has a 50% chance, and that's what it's giving Brighton. So more optimistic from the numbers for West Ham's perspective. Maybe Jordan has a good weekend there.
Right on, George. Well, in the chat, we've got DJ Dark US Night 2054 says, I'm trying to get out of here, but I do like a good story. Maybe I'll stay for a while. Well, soccer's nothing if not stories. Am I right? We love a good story. And this is a great time to tell you guys, if you are watching, listening to this later, we do appreciate it. Please consider giving us a like, a follow, a subscribe, all that good stuff. You can leave us a review on your podcast app. Anything at all will help our show and give you great karma for your bets. And we're going to switch leagues here, George. We're going to move down to Italy and the Serie. We're taking a look at Internazionale Milano against Lake Como. This one sees Inter as home favorites of a full goal at -1, and the total is set at 2.75. George, this might be the biggest test for Inter that we've seen so far this season, and they haven't fared well in the domestic league against their big rivals. Como, resurgent Como, surprising Como, will be traveling down south to take on Milan here. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Deb, we knew Como would be frisky this season when Cesc Fabregas, they were trying to lure him away to, big clubs in Europe. He said, nah, I'm comfortable here. Not only because I live in an absolutely beautiful place in Como now, but also because I believe in what we're doing here. He's putting something together. And it's working quite well, I have to say. They sit just 3 points behind Inter at the time of recording here. And listen, I can't believe they're getting a full goal in the Asian handicap. +1? Are you kidding me? This team hasn't lost a game in 12 straight in all comps. That's insane. With the wobbles that Inter have had, the ups and downs, I still make Inter the better team overall, but you're giving me +1 on a team that hasn't been beaten in 12 matches. I got to take that, Dev, and it's at my favorite price. Once again, even money. Give me Como +1.
Ah, George, why did you do it to us? Why you gotta do it to us, bud? I'm on the same shit, man. +1 here for Como. It's too much. It's too much for this team who has only given up 7 goals through 13 matches on the season. One of the best marks in the league here, if not the best. Yes, tied with Roma as the most stingy defenses. Inter, of course, have scored 28 on the season, which is far and away the most in the Serie A. But the size of this game matters, right? You mentioned the standings here. Como 3 points behind Inter, and that's a drop from 3rd place Inter to 5th place Como. Points are at a premium here. This is going to be real Italian, I think. It's going to be real slow, a lot of defense, and that makes me like an under here. I like under 2.75 on the Asian total there. But if you like an under,
crazy
you like
how
a
high
dog.
that is, right? It's like you'd
Totally.
expect this to be tight, and it's also Serie A where we see the lowest totals across Europe, and they're giving us the 2.75 like it's an EPL match. Very interesting.
Yeah, under 2.5 has hit in 7 of the last 9 Como matches. I guess, and they haven't lost in 12. You mentioned that, and that's across all competitions. But now you're giving me a +1 total, so you're giving me 2 of the 3 outcomes plus an additional game state outcome of losing by 1 and you push out. It's too good a value for me. But Bob, what does the computer say? I'm scared. I'm scared to ask it.
You shouldn't be scared. It's actually quite in your favor. It shows Inter with a 48.6% chance to win the game outright. That is less than half of the possibilities, meaning any bet on Como, draw no bet, both Como double chance, anything like that is absolutely something that you should look to hammer. The total is also on the low side. You already touched on that. I have under 2.5 goals, 50.88% of the time at +104. You know how it goes, over 50% plus money bet. You have some profit there. So I see that as being profitable. And that checks out in my head because when I think of lower scoring games, maybe Como gets a nice, 1-1. I feel like a 1-1 would be an upset. 1-0, the ball bounces a funny way. When we look at overs, I always align them with the home team and I always align unders with the away team. Those all check out. Como with a 50% plus chance to win or draw and, under 2.5 goals, +104 going to happen 50.88% of the time.
Well, hell yeah, George. You and I were in agreement with the computer. Let's move on. We've got one more.
Bob V, a.k.a. The Computer.
That's your name. We got a gambling nickname for you now. The computer. Let's move on. We got one more Serie A match for you guys. It's Cagliari against Roma. This one sees Cagliari as home dogs of 3/4 of a goal plus 0.75, and the total is set at a low 2.25. That's more what I expected to be in line here for the previous match, Jord. But with this one, Roma traveling up to Cagliari. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, Dev, road favorites have been sort of up and down for me this season, but Roma here a -3/4 of a goal on the handicap. We see how low the total is, as it often is in these Roma games, sometimes going as low as 2. We've seen so many 1-0s for Roma in Serie A this season. I don't see much different here, right? Cagliari not doing well, as is about their level, and Roma continue to fly, continue to pick up points. And I'm just going to not complicate this one, Dev. I'm going to bring the total up in my favor, and I'm going to bring the spread for Roma down. I'm just going to take Roma on the money line with under 4.5 goals tacked on to it, and that's coming in at -115.
Nice, George. I stayed off of this one, but I like where your head's at. Cagliari in the Serie A this season, 2nd worst expected goal differential, only ahead of Pisa. So you'd think that there's going to be a win. I stayed away because I don't like betting on a road favorite, but Bob, what does the computer say?
Computer says, I don't even need to look at the computer. I need to look at the sports book. I need to look at what the people are saying. First of all, this match has legs. On your graphic, Roma minus 143. Right now, I'm finding Roma at minus 165. That's a huge swing for a couple hours since these graphics were made. So that's where the money's coming in. And if you look at the over 1.5 goals for Cagliari, plus 420. When have you seen a home odds on scoring a second goal being that high? That tells us everything we need to know. They're not scoring. They're going to find maybe one goal. Roma, can they find two? 50-50 chance. I have 42% to go over a goal and a half, 58% to go under. Yeah, this is the 2.5 is absolutely in play. I kind of favor the under. And, I really like what you guys said. We are in agreement with the numbers here.
Yes. Right on. Yeah, that Roma team total, get a tidy 2-0 win here, minus 110 to go over 1.5. DJ Dark Knight, he's back in the chat. He says, lads, the soccer sharps, even Google can't spell that. Well,
he's having a bit of a breakdown in the chat here.
Yeah, I hope he's okay over there. Thank you, DJ Dark Knight. Hopefully Google will figure out a way how to spell it because we need it for our search engine optimization. But let's move over to the other peninsula. It is La Liga. We're taking a look here at Real Betis against Barcelona. This one sees Betis as home dogs of 3/4 of a goal plus 0.75, and the total is set at a high 3.5. Jord, you wanted this one on the card. Barcelona screwed me in the midweek, although I can't blame them, really. I just needed Atleti to score twice. They had their chances, and they couldn't do it against this Barcelona team who loves letting in goals. But now they travel to Betis. It's 3/4 of a goal favorites. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, Dev, I'm looking forward to this one. I think it could be a lot of fun. Both teams in good form overall. Betis coming into this 3 straight wins. Haven't lost in 8 matches. Of course, we know Barcelona got trucked recently by Chelsea, but they did get back to winning ways, putting together a couple of wins back-to-back in La Liga. We're still seeing plenty of goals in these matches, Dev, and the head-to-head data for these teams. Always fun, Dev. Over 2.5 goals, 6 of the last 7 meetings. Both teams scoring 4 of the last 5. Betis have actually, I like this stat, Betis have scored first in 7 of their last 8 matches. And that kind of goes into how I'm going to play this here, Dev, right? You've got over 3.5 as the game total lined at about that minus 110. You can get the same price for the first half to go over 1.5. I'm going to be a little more bullish here. I'm going to go both teams to score in the first half at plus 200. Usually I like a little bit better price on that. However, given the data for these teams, given the suicidal high line of Barcelona on the road, I think there's every chance we can get both teams to oblige in the first half. So I'm going to take that at 2-1.
Nice, George. Yeah, this has got to have goals all over it. I ended up staying off of this one as well, though I wouldn't mind just taking that over 3.5 minus 111. Just keep it simple. Over 2.5 goals is hit in 10 straight Barcelona matches across all comps. We know there's going to be goals here. Can we get to a fourth? I think it comes from both ends. You probably tack on both teams to score, though it's not going to give you that much of a better price if you do take the over 3.5. What's Antony to score in this one, Jordy? Seems like he's due. Guy loves shooting, scoring, scored in his last match. Minus 250. Oh, I'm sorry. That's for shot on target. Give me one sec here. I'm going to check his goal scoring. Wait, he's not listed.
Bob, what's the computer saying while Dev's looking that up?
The computer is saying that I did not set up for La Liga yet, so does not compute. Does not compute. We gotta
can't bail Dev out there.
Yeah, wow, riveting content here. Plus 240 to score anytime. He's a big game player, and what do big game players do, Jord? They make big time plays in big time games. That's where I might look for this one, but I did end up staying off it.
Well, Dev, speaking of big games, we've got not but MLS Final, where Bob doesn't need to be a computer anymore. He can be Bob V himself, and he can help us completely ignorant to MLS Americans, figure this one out, because we do have some scope for it with our audience. Have had some requests that we cover this match, and we thought we'd cede the stage to our hooligan soccer MLS guru.
Put me
That's
in,
right.
Coach.
Well,
I
let me
about,
introduce the lines here, Jordan. Let me set it up, because I really want to use my American accent here. It's Inter Miami against Vancouver Whitecaps. Okay, Inter Miami in this one is a 3/4 of a goal favorite, minus 0.75. The total is set at 3.25. And to lift the trophy, different odds here. Obviously, this is a cup final, so it will go to extra time and then penalties if it's tied after 90 minutes. So to lift the trophy, Miami minus 250, Vancouver plus 162. And now I'll let you take it away, Bob.
Absolutely. Thank you. I prepared like a little background. I don't know if you guys care too much to hear about what's going on in the story, but it kind of factors into all the bets I'm playing here. I have 4 official plays that I'm going to drop on you guys. I'm going to drop those on my show when we go live next week. And they're all kind of a different, I kind of took like a different approach to each and every one. Now, Miami, they're at home. This is not at a neutral location for the championship game. They're 5-0 in their last 5 home matches, 14-3-3 at home this season. And in their last 5 home matches, they're outscoring their opponents 20-3. 2.85 goals per game scored during the season. 4 goals per game scored over their last 5. Now, this is in the playoffs against better opponents. 1.4 goals per game allowed during the season. 0.4 goals per game allowed over their last 5 at home. This isn't a team that is just offense. They're clicking on defense and playing well too. Part of that is playing keep away when you go up, but we'll talk about that later. As to Vancouver, they're the early season surprise that fizzled a little bit heading into the end of the year. However, they're great on the road. 9 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses on the road. Most notably a 3-1 win over San Diego FC just this past weekend on the road. They beat Miami in the CONCACAF Champions Cup semis 3-1 as the road team, and that was one of Miami's only road losses throughout the course of the season. It was not during MLS regular play, though. They also beat Miami 2-0 at home and went 2-0 in the series when they played each other so far this season. They got smacked around 5-0 by Cruz Azul in that final, but just to put it in perspective, while they may not be the world beaters, they can take a win, and they know how to beat Miami. They've done it twice this season. However, Miami to Vancouver, that's a really long flight, right? It's over 2,500 miles. It's like a huge distance. It's the furthest you can travel in North America from one place to another. It's like, wow. the far right, the far east, southeast against the furthest northwest you can go. These things add up so much in Major League Soccer. And the one thing about Miami, they've traveled and they've brought fans everywhere. Vancouver, yeah, they're going to have some fans who come out for the game, but not a lot of people can even afford that ticket or spend the, what is an 8-hour flight to get from one place to another. It's just really hard. So I'm favoring Inter Miami. I have 4 official plays. My first one is going to be Miami and both teams to score at plus 159. 159 gives it a 38.6% implied probability, but Miami's allowing both teams to score in 75% of their home matches this season. Vancouver doing that 53% of the time on the road, including 6 of their last 7. So this is an outcome that happens very often. Just because it's a championship game, I don't think that means Miami's going to play any differently, because you have players who've been there before. Is Messi going to be more nervous for this game than any other game of his career? Absolutely not. Now, I'm not saying that they don't take it, that they don't value it, that they're not going to play up to their ability, but I don't think Messi's going to get the yips playing against Vancouver Whitecaps. I just don't think that's going to be the case. So that's an absolute lock for me. Miami and both teams to score plus 159. The next play I have is actually just favoring a lot of goals. Miami plus 120 to score in both halves. They did that in 80% of their home games this season and 62% of all games they've played. 45.45% implied probability on something that's happening like 70% of the time. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that every time. Plus 120 on Miami to score in both halves. Maybe they do save all their scoring for the second half. But if this is a high scoring game, if they're scoring 4 or 5 like they've been doing at home each and every week, maybe one's going to be in the first half too. So, that's my second official play there.
Love those prices.
Yeah, and that's what it is, it's prices, and it's finding better ways. I don't want to bet Miami at minus 134. That, according to my model, is actually still an advantage, but you're going to see a lot of dumb money come in on this. We talk about like Super Bowl betting, how it's just any chump with a login puts 10, 20, 30, 100, $400 down on it. You're going to see a lot of that, and you're going to see a lot of that on the Miami side, which is why I think we need to really find ways for this match to find an advantage. Like, not just play a dumb Miami over 2.5, Miami and over 2.5. Well, okay, but if they score in both halves, how many people are going to, go that deep into the sports book and find, betting on halves? So that's the real degenerate stuff that we look for here on the Hooligan Soccer Network for sure,
Yeah.
That's right.
And
that's really insightful, man. I love all those plays and I think you're right. You mentioned the home field advantage, and for a game like this, a friend of mine who was a Miami season ticket holder was like, "Oh, we're priced out. The season ticket holders are priced out to even get tickets because there's going to be so many neutrals who just want to see the Messi effect."
Yeah, absolutely. I sold my first ticket when he came to Red Bull Arena for the price of 4 seasons worth of season tickets.
Wow.
And then I sat in the press box.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Love that. Well, you are not going with Messi as one of your player props, but you do have a couple.
I do. I have 2 player props, and this is a really star-studded event. There's a lot of players, and you might think Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba, but you got guys like Talasco Segovia, who has 8 goals, 4 assists this season. He's 21 years old, Venezuelan from Pisa in Portugal and Sampdoria in Serie A. Like, this is a name guy, only 21 years old. And when Messi came, everyone was coming at a discount, right? Because they know with all the eyes on them in America, they can make a lot more money than just a contract. So there's players playing that should be DPs 2 or 3 times over that are playing under the designated player limit, playing under the salary cap just to get eyes on them. And one of them is Tadeo Allende, 2 years from Godoy Cruz in Argentina, then 2 years at Celta Vigo. He's the leading postseason goal scorer for Inter Miami, 8 goals and 1 assist in the postseason, and he has 7 goals in his last 3 matches. It was 3 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, something like that, and he had an assist somewhere there too. My official play isn't for him to score. It's for him to score or assist. And it's a huge number. It's plus 115 to score or assist. This is someone who's had 8 goal contributions in the last 3 matches. Now, he is on a knock. There were some rumors that people couldn't find him at training. So, you got to keep a real close eye on this. I go to RotoWire. They have a really nice lineup tool that shows you when injuries pop up. And unfortunately for Major League Soccer, their injury report comes out like Friday night at like 10:30 at night. And it's hidden. It doesn't even pop up on the website. You have to like search for it. So we're going to keep an eye on that to make sure that he is playing and active in this. But he has 0.46 goals or assists per 90 this season. Should be plus 117 bet. It's at plus 115. Okay, I'll take the 2 cents on that and just say his form is worth more than 2% on a little bet. So I think that's an absolute grand slam for me, Tadeo Allende, to score or assist. And the other one, Thomas Muller.
Muller.
Plus 110 to score or assist. He has 1.66 goals and assists per 90. He's someone who's scoring for Vancouver. We just haven't seen a lot of him. He hadn't really clicked or found his way. I mean, literally did not find his way to Vancouver for quite some time. Of course, the summer transfer window, which takes effect during Leagues Cup, which is an MLS season. So then they need to restart this season, and then he gets acclimated. He is lights out right now. Again, 1.66 goals and assists per 90. 47.62 is the implied probability of a plus 110 bet of something that's happening, multiple times every time he steps on the field. If you favor Vancouver, I think it's got to be Muller who is, going to push the team across the finish line. Not one that I'm not favoring Vancouver, but I mean, I took up both teams to score a bet. Someone's got to put it in the back of the net. And Vancouver Whitecaps, they have a lot of really good players. You have Sebastian Berhalter, 4 goals, 10 assists this season, son of U.S. men's national team coach former coach Greg Berhalter, who's been absolute lights out in the midfield. Emmanuel Sabi, a young Italian from Denmark, who played in France for a little while. He's on the squad. You have Brian White, 16 goals. He's an American from the Red Bull Academy. So just because the eyes are on Miami does not mean Vancouver has a lot of potential. I just don't think they can win in a shootout. I think this is going to be a high-scoring, star-studded event, and that's going to, of course, favor Inter Miami. Vancouver has everything going against them. They can absolutely pull an upset here, but none of my official plays really are going to reflect that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that was very thorough. Thank you, Bob. In the chat, we've got Light Chipster says, loving the model predictions. Hey, thanks for bringing that for us, Bob. And then Bob D, says, game feels like recent Liverpool PSV games, goals galore. Well, that's what Bob's saying. That's what the model's saying.
Hope.
And let's hope it's a really fun one there. If I was going to push back a little, I'd be like, well, it's a cup final. Those can be pretty cagey, but doesn't sound like there's any cage to these two teams. So should be a lot of fun. But that's going to do it for us. It's going to do us for all the games that we are covering. But Jord, before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
We do indeed, fellas, because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookies.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Right on. Well, let's put up our official plays for the week. I'll read them out. I've got Sunderland plus a goal and 3/4 on the Asian handicap, minus 109. Leeds, Liverpool, both teams to score and over 2.5 at minus 105. Bournemouth, Chelsea, both teams to score and over 2.5, minus 120. And finally, Como plus 1 on the Asian handicap at even money. Jord, what do you got?
Right on, Dev. I've got Man City and Sunderland, both teams to score, yes, at even money. Leeds United team total over 1.5 plus 175. That's too big in my opinion. Brighton and West Ham United, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at plus 100 even money. Como plus 1, just like you, Dev. We got 2 units on that for the show, even money. Roma on the money line, tacked on to under 4.5 goals at minus 115. And finally, in La Liga, Real Betis and Barcelona taking a bigger swing here. Both teams to score in the first half at 2-1 plus 200. Bob, what do you got?
I have Inter Miami money line and both teams to score plus 159. Inter Miami, SBH.
Score in both halves.
Score in both halves plus 120. Tadeo Allende plus 115 to score or assist. Thomas Mueller score or assist plus 110. And I would have put Real Betis. They have my boy Cucho Hernandez, who won MLS Cup with the Columbus Crew. He was like to score or assist was like plus 100 or something like that. I would have thrown that on the card too.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Right
Love
on.
the score assist props. Let's go.
Yeah, those are some really nice plus money plays for that MLS Cup final. We want to thank Bob V for joining us. We appreciate it and all the insight you brought to us. Where can the people find you if they want more of your content?
Oh, thank you. Our show is called The Designated Pundits. We go live every Thursday night. Actually, we're not going to have a show today. Kind of bought a new house and we're kind of restructuring the show a little bit. We're not going anywhere. We're just kind of having difficulty scheduling together, East Coast, West Coast, South, North, one of those kind of things. But you can find us on the Hooligan Soccer Network and, Spotify now with video, any place to listen to podcasts. So thank you so much, guys, for having me on. I really appreciate it. And we'll have to do this again real soon.
Yeah, Bob, actually, I was going to say, well, first of all, a question. Do you guys keep going through the off season as well?
That's complicated. We have a less formal schedule. So what we do, and one of the things our podcast is known for, and this like triples our views every year, we do a full series before the season where we have specialists, podcasters, play-by-play radio hosts, people in the locker room for each and every Major League Soccer team, and we preview all of them. started out small. Now there's 30 teams. Now it's a huge project to book all those people. So we get going in that like with February. We'll finish up the season with doing like some post-mortem, maybe grab some of those preview hosts that we talk to throughout the year and talk about, maybe pick 6 teams. Hey, your team surprised us. What went wrong? What went right? Why were they so good? Why were they so bad? So we kind of keep that content rolling. And then we do like player profiles throughout the season of all the new incoming players. So yeah, it's a full-time job for us, and we're adding NWSL to our podcast for the upcoming year. Love the small market betting. You know, when I worked with the Bet US MLS show, worked with Dan Alexander, Gareth Wheeler, one of the big guys in Canadian soccer, but Dan Alexander was a lacrosse bettor. These small market guys have such a great way of finding a really nice edge. And when you see the sportsbook put out numbers that are like obviously like the formula for home and away team odds, I'm like, yes, that is what I want right there. I want to take advantage of whoever copy pasted this from like an EPL chart, because they don't know anything about these small markets.
Right on, man. Any way to beat the book. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. If you're still here, please throw a like on the video or the podcast, wherever you are. It'll go a long way for us, and it'll give you good karma for your bets this weekend. And best of luck to everybody. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial.